time to start your most magnificent journey within.
Empathic practice.
Tonight, at Empathic Practice Drinks, after reflecting on our subconscious brain, let's think about how we make sense of things, how we consciously put together all the pieces of what we see, hear, and live.
Does your brain make sense of things? Or do you simply come to conclusions that feel comfortable and feel like they fit in with the puzzle of how you view your environment?
And then create this life story, this narrative that builds who we are and how we experience the world.
Does it take all 5 of your senses and then some to truly understand? And does that take more awareness than just experiencing? Does it take assessment after understanding or experiencing?
How do we embrace this flow on everything that we do by just being ourselves?
Or is there a broader picture at play here to truly understand a situation or a mindset or a person?
Let's look more on how we put together the pieces that make sense to the way we form our world, how we explore this narrative that we're constantly threading.
And what does it truly take to provide actual understanding?
How do you make sense of what I'm saying, consciously focusing on each word and sound, visual reference? And then this puzzle is put together to present you with this.
Time for balance. Time for yourself. It's your journey. Where will you start?
Empathic practice.
Allow yourself to be that which you are not. What does it mean to be you? How do you identify the difference between you and other? Everything that is just like us, just like you, just like me. But how could you ever see the whole you without seeing yourself from another perspective? From this next best self witness right here, right now place. Maybe we see our shadows. Maybe that proves our existence here as light. How could we form shadows without being light? This space that you consume just by being, are you separate from it? If you can feel a cool breeze, is your feeling separate from the breeze? And if your feeling is not separate from the breeze, are you separate from anything? understand the waves that you make for yourself and for others. Because the waves that we make are all one. Expansive ocean of universe in some kind of fluid we don't understand yet. But the more that we know, the less we need to understand. Allow yourself non-understanding. See yourself from somewhere else, from the place of one inhalation we are growing. And then an exhalation, and we're still growing. What happens when we understand that growth is inherent within us? This mindset requires only awareness. What is it that causes you to bloom? Close your eyes. With softened mouth, inhale through your nose, expanding your ribs, letting your belly fill up all the way.
First dosage, what is your recommendation for your first-time patients?
Usually with edibles, I would recommend they start at about 5 to 10 milligrams. Some dispensaries, their edibles start at 5 milligrams. Some dispensaries, they start at 2. So I like to make that known to my patients. That way, if they'd rather start with a 5 milligram, we can send them to a dispensary that starts a little bit lower.
When trying to find a good threshold or a good beginning dosage for you, I really like tinctures.
Me too.
Because they're very measurable. You can go by drops. Start with 5 drops. Wait an hour, see how you feel. Move up to 6 or 8 drops and find that measurement and find your threshold nice and slow. No need to rush on in and get your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start low, go slow, embrace slow medicine. And so that leads into experience and effects.
Which vary from person to person.
For sure. Everybody's body, everybody's metabolism is completely different. It also depends on what kind of medicine that you're taking, what deliveries you're using, and how much of each, if there are multiple.
And what your experience with cannabis is, because that's going to change your experience completely.
Absolutely. With any psychoactive medication, that when we start adding in the conscious mind along with the body, that can yield a lot of different effects. So start low, go slow for sure. And even if it's a product or delivery method that you're comfortable with, like edibles is a big one. They can vary from company to company.
Absolutely.
Depending on what they're using to make their edibles. Is it from distillate, RSO, whatever it is.
Depends on your stomach too. If you have anything in your stomach, if you're taking it on an empty stomach, all of that matters.
Do you have any other medications in your system? So it's very important to treat this as an introspective medicine. Start with 3 to 5 milligrams is my typical recommendation. Give it at least an hour to hour and a half. Assess what's going on in your body, and go from there. There's nothing wrong with taking your time when it comes to figuring out your proper balance to dosage.
And write it down. Write down the effects of all the new products that you try. That way you can just pop open your journal and find out what effects what had on you. And that way you can adjust your dosage from there.
And take control of your medicine, which is really the beautiful part about the industry is you get so much choice on how and when to medicate.
Ooh. Oh boy, how did we even get home last night? I don't even know. Another mystery for the universe. Time to wake this guy up. Okay, eyes are opening. Check. I got that morning breath thing going. Check. Wait. What's that sound? That sounds bad. We're being attacked. Kill it! Oh yeah, it's the alarm. Well, that definitely was an overreaction. Hey, let's get this guy moving. Up, 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 get moving, big guy. Start your day in the morning way, yeah, start the day. Time to start your day. What's a strange cloud? Piss off, cloud, I got stuff to do. Walk right through that. All right, the door. Of course it's the door, that's where we left it. God, I am just all over the place today. Start your day in the morning way, yeah. Let's get a cup of coffee in this guy. Oh, hey, remember that one time I forgot to do this and then we went to work and there was like a bunch of emails that came in from like one person in like 10 minutes. You had to deal with all of them right away. You know they're going to call for your supervisor when you really should have been preparing for the big... Dang it, I can not get with it. God. Ugh. Okay, I hate to do this, but we got to go to plan B. Initiating autopilot mode, begin sequence. Shifting warp drive into energy preservation and engage. Now that was some good thinking. Ahoy, hoy.
Hey, Brain. This is Soul. We just got an alert down here of autopilot being initiated.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure we talked about going outside, being in nature, going on a hike, maybe. What the hell happened out there, buddy?
Good question. I can explain that. See, my first mistake was getting up this morning.
Time for balance. Time for yourself. It's your journey. Where will you start?
Empathic practice.
When you hear your name, you are sure of what it means. The specific collection of sounds travels through the air, into your ears, and makes its way to becoming information you recognize. Seemingly instantaneous, your name grabs your attention and asks you to direct your awareness to its source. This is not a feat of magic. It is just another moment in a day in the life of the most complex organ in your body, your brain. It is your interpreter, your director, and your supervisor, and it is directly connected to your systems of perception. These are your senses: sight, touch, smell, sound, and taste. The age-old ways you have been exploring the world around you, gathering data that allows you to make sense of who you are and what it is you are experiencing. When you see, let's say, a lemon, your eyes begin the journey of this recognition. Within each retina, you have 125 million rods and cones. These are cells that absorb light, photoreceptor cells, and their job is to process visual information in low light, daylight, and do so in color when possible. These rods and cones create impulses that travel through layers of the retina and make it to your optic nerve, which relays information to your primary visual cortex. This is the part of your brain that starts putting together something we would call an image to your conscious awareness. Other areas of the brain are also engaged, and you are able to visually process what is in front of you and give it a name. a lemon. This is a seamless process in our consciousness, our brain making sense of things faster than we can even notice what is happening. The most recent research has found that your brain can make sense of a visual object in as little as 13 milliseconds, which is about 1/100th of a second. This incredible processing is only one component of your brain's ability to make sense of your world. When you touch something, smell something, hear something, or taste something, you engage complex systems of perception. Your body uses specialized organs to gather information, and your nervous system and brain process this information to provide you meaning. These incredible systems make it possible for you to not only see a lemon, but to pick it up, slice it open, squeeze it into a glass, make some lemonade, and call it a day.
Good night. Tonight, we'll be reading from The Science of the Soul. The It Arcanon, Chapter 16. The Nazarene taught us that God is love, therefore love must be God. Love is the foundation of light. It is the key to all that is eternal, all that survives the great change we call death. Love is the ferryman that is entrusted with taking us safely across the chasm. Love stands guard as we fearfully and tremblingly await the last moment and are conscious that we are closing our eyes for the last time in the present incarnation. Love unlocks the mysteries for us all, of all that is not of the material, not of the earthly. The lustful heart does not really know love. At its best, it can only desire satisfaction, then, like a well-fed animal, turn over and fall asleep to awaken to even greater desire. Love creates the highest vibrations the fourfold nature of man can know. It is of heart and soul. It is the truth, the light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world. If there is love in the heart, there is peace in the soul. If there is no love in the heart, then all other things count for nothing. Herein there is the mystery. To be able to develop the fire, and it is a fire, of earth, we must learn to love. There must be love in the heart so that this may awaken the slumbering fires of the soul and the earth to be developed. There must be desire in the mind which harmonizes with the love in the heart before we can know the Christos and the earth is aroused. Man cannot fully understand what love is until he has cleansed the mind, his desires, and set the soul free from evil. So long as man lives in a world of matter, he cannot escape temptations, strifes, and sorrows, but he can avoid those evils that would result in degeneration. Man is possessed of a mind, and that mind is capable of reasoning, so that he is able to separate the good from the non-good or evil. He is also endowed with man's greatest blessing, will. The will to do things or refuse to do them. By the power of his will, he is able to keep from sinning. Sin is sickness, sickness of body and soul. The person who commits sin thereby contaminates both the body and the soul. This manifests in sickness of body and misfortunes that are of the soul. By the direction of the earth, all evil might be consumed. For this reason, the earth fires are all potent in eliminating illness from the human body by establishing love in the soul and so freeing it from evil. The law states, "Know ye from that unrighteousness shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor the covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God." This catalog is rather complete. One might well add another paragraph. "If ye be any of these sick, yet not those who have so lived that they be able to direct the earth in the healing of thy self-created ills, lest this fire not only consume thy weakness and ills, but thy whole being also, it being filled with evil." With such a list of evils carefully tabulated, man cannot claim to be ignorant or to misunderstand. It is not almost all-inclusive, and do not all other evils spring from those named? Such as this then cannot be cured by the fires. They cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. They will not be able to find peace, ease, which the kingdom of heaven is. Good night and good dreams.
Time for balance. Time for yourself. It's your journey. Where will you start?
Empathic practice.